Welcome to the next episode of the CEO Insights. Today we have Mr. Rajesh Kumar joining us. Thank you, Rajesh, for your constant support in this panel for the Great Manager Awards, and welcome to this episode.
Thanks. It's been a privilege to be associated with your organization, and which helps me help fellow colleagues and budding managers to do their best.
Fantastic. So today is all about you, Rajesh. We want to understand how you think, what's your style, what's your advice. So the first question I have, Rajesh, is how would you best describe your leadership style? And if I have to go about asking your colleagues that what are some do's and especially the don'ts around Rajesh, what do you think they'll say? So your leadership style and the do's and don'ts around you.
The do's would be that I listen to them. So I encourage people to come and talk to me, however the grave the problem might be, because I have always believed, let's fix the problem first. We can fix people later. So it's not about apportioning blame. So they're very candid and transparent is what I have found my subordinates all the time throughout my career. That they don't hesitate to come and tell me if something has gone wrong. Because I don't believe in fixing people first. If the accountability has to be fixed, it will be fixed in a due course of time with proper investigation. So amiable, listening to my colleagues, my subordinates has been one of the things which I have always cherished, and I think that's the feedback I keep getting from them. Don'ts, hard taskmaster, I won't leave you. If you try to take me for a ride, I might take the ride for some time, but then I get off and ask, hey, we are in the wrong place now. No, I didn't allow you. I allowed you to drive through, but then you led me to a wrong place. So let me now take the driving wheel in my hand, and I'm not going to drive from here. So that could be the unpleasant part. At times it could be very tough for them because I do play along to keep listening, allow people to make mistakes. But then sometimes, people don't learn. I keep telling them, learn from your mistakes. There's no harm in making mistakes, because if you make mistakes, you learn faster. So fail fast, learn fast has been the mantra. So don't take me for a ride. So that's what I keep telling them. I trust you, don't betray the trust.
Right. The next question is a little hypothetical. I'm not sure if this situation will ever arise. But let's say, Rajesh, that you are interviewing a candidate and you've got very limited time and you can only ask one question to determine if the candidate is a fit or not. In this situation, what will be that question?
Where have you failed and why? Like people keep talking about this inverted thinking. It's not about how to find to succeed. If you can prevent your failures, then you take away those roadblocks, then things will continue to move. I may not need a high-powered car to drive forward. If I can take out the obstacles, I can still reach faster. So if a guy knows why he has failed, probably he would be far more learned than if he has been succeeding, never knew failure. So I would love to ask that one question, where have you failed and why, and what did you do about it?
Rajesh, if I can take you back to, I think it's been 32 years of work experience, right? Let's say we build a time machine and you can go back to the younger Rajesh when he was just starting his first job as a plant manager, and and you get to spend 2 minutes with the younger Rajesh with all the experience and the wisdom that you hold today. What is it that you would say to the younger Rajesh?
Make mistakes. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Don't be so attached to your job that you leave behind your passion for doing good things. I had been very conservative in the initial years. So I don't want the younger Rajesh of me today to be as conservative. Believe in yourself and you can do far more better. Don't be afraid. Mistakes will happen. Don't be so afraid that every mistake will cost you your job. It may not actually, it may give you better dividends. Somebody may see you a little differently. And accept if something goes wrong. Have the courage of conviction to say, yes, I tried this, I did my best, still it's gone wrong. But if something has gone wrong and if you know why it's gone wrong, try and tell I have got a solution, a fix for it. But that's what I would tell a younger Rajesh, that Don't shy away from giving your best just because something can fail.
What are values that are very core to you, Rajesh? And if you could think about maybe an instance of how you have displayed that value or those values at your workplace.
Integrity of thought and in action. It's not only financial, it's about what you tell, whom you tell, and how you tell. It can't be you're telling me something and telling somebody else the same thing in a different manner, which, hides things. So I have been very clear and very particular about it, and my subordinates and my colleagues also know this, that I would not put up with something which is not in the right perspective and something is being played around. So integrity in data, integrity in terms of reporting, something has gone wrong, just stand up and own up. Don't try to fidget around. Don't try to give me story that, X, Y, Z didn't do that. So that is a value that I hold very dear. Second thing is transparency. For me, transparency is because then you give a chance to the others to correct if something is going. If you are an organization which loves to only reward good people, only successful people, then people will learn to only hide everything which is bad and only show you what a good side of me. Now that's where I have seen many organizations, the failures are because they have got 60% things which they want to hide. So I would not promote anybody to hide things. And I'll give you a background to this. When I was at Mars, setting up the factory, the first experiment we did was that the waste bins on the scrap yard will be at the gate, whereas it's all factory at the backyard. And the thought process behind that was that if I can see that a scrap here, everybody else will be able to see. So the pressure to move it out will be real fast and not allowed to accumulate. I didn't go there, we'll send it on Friday evening. So that was the first experiment I had with this transparency, that in my factory, because now I'm the plant head, I'm putting up a new factory. The scrapyard will be right at the gate, and let me see why we cannot get rid of it. So that's another value, of course, which I like. Second thing is value people. People have diverse opinions. Learn to live with diverse opinions. People can be egotistic. They can be high in ego. Fine. Understand that somebody is high in ego. By your understanding, if he's being high in ego doesn't take your value away. Somebody shouts at you doesn't mean that you're a bad guy. Probably he's in a position of power and that's the only way he knows how to interact with people. That's his failure, not mine. So allow people to shout. That doesn't mean anything to me. I don't get swayed away if somebody shouts at me or somebody starts praising me immediately. But that's his thought process. Is that what I also believe in? Sometimes I get credit for things which I have not done. Now I do politely tell them, thanks for doing all this, but I'm not sure I'm the only one who got it done. So stand up on that and be counted for things you've not done. Say, this is the right guy who should be rewarded for it. I may have been part of it. So give people their due. That's another value that I strongly hold dear, that not everything is done by me. There are many else who have done this. And we have done this here also in VBL. I remember the top management, the promoters wanted to reward a select few people for achieving something. And I had to put my foot down saying, unless you take it 2 levels down, I'm not going to do it for my team. So there was a log jam with the promoter, and then he saw it my way and it's fine. I agree with what you're saying, and then we'll take it 2 levels down. I said, whatever small value, you may reward me highly. I have no issue with that. I'm not saying that I will not take the reward, but I'm not the only one who should get the full pie. There should be something which should go down the line. So giving credits to people for what they do, recognizing them, is another value that I hold very dear. So integrity, thoughts, transparency across, and foster transparency, build it down the line, right to the operator. And then rewarding people and giving them their due, not hog everybody else's credit to, myself, but rather pull it downwards. So that has been something which has really helped me.
You mentioned VBL, so I just want to get in and understand from you also, Rajesh, around the vision that Varun Beverages has for the future. What's your view of the vision that the organization has?
Well, the organization has a very one simple line, that we want to be the most admired beverage company in India or the markets that we play in, but I want to take it forward. My forward thinking on this is I will have the best suited people for this business, whether they are making the product or they are distributing the product or they are selling the product. Because if I have the best people working for me, they must find something, that X factor, which allows them to work here endlessly. And if they find that X factor, being admired is a result, so that will automatically come in. That if my people are passionate about what they are doing, they're constantly, progressing in life in their careers and doing something good, and they are not, afraid to fail. We can really create a teaching organization instead of being a learning organization. So that's what my vision is. That's what I'm trying to drive, at least in the area that I influence.
This younger generation, the Gen Zs, the ones that are just coming into the workforce, I'm sure you interact with quite a lot of them. When you talk to them, Rajesh, what's the most common piece of advice you keep, you find yourself always giving to this generation?
My pet word with them, and now that you asked me, I just trying to recall, has been, do you understand what you're talking? And when I say the word understand, then we go deeper into it. So there was a very nice project a guy had done it in one of my Hyderabad factories, and I asked him, do you really understand this? Where we are coming from? Do you understand where I can use this knowledge? So then he realized for a while that he really did not understand what he was telling me made a lot of sense, and we are going to implement that. But he did not understand the complete meaning of what he was trying to do, what he was trying to convey, and how it would fit into the VBL manufacturing system. Well, I could pick up that idea because of my experience, but then, he had heard about it somewhere, and he thought that he could, bring it more out of to impress senior management, but it was a great idea. But he really did not understand it. And that's what I find, that impatience and lack of, what would I call it, their attention span to things and putting things, attention for details. So I keep asking, do you understand? Get into details. Because then you can really understand and make a difference. And don't do it for today. Don't try to impress people. People may get impressed, but if you don't follow up with what impression you have created, then it's very early that we will be disenchanted and will bracket you into somebody who tries to tell something but not follow up on it. So that comes to my mind, what I keep telling and keep on hammering this when I go to the plants and I meet these youngsters. Every quarter we have a discussion with what they are doing, the GETs that we hire and the new trainees that people we bring in. So we're investing a lot into them. We have put them into challenging positions, but the same question keeps on rising. Do you understand what you're doing? And if you don't understand what you're doing, then the next question is, whom have you asked? Sometimes they feel that I don't know, but I don't know where to go to. So that's another thing which I wanted to break with them, is that, do you understand what you're doing? And if you don't, whom have you asked? So if somebody has not told you, then, the last person you should be coming to is me. That you've gone to every door that could have been knocked on and you've not got your answer, then feel free to come to me. So I'm getting a lot of interaction from the youngsters. I'm learning from them. A lot of ideas they bring to the table. Some great ones have come up, and pushing them. So they're also enjoying, and we have put them into more challenging roles in the last 2 years.
Fantastic. Just the last question then, Rajesh. It's been great till now. How would you best describe yourself in one adjective?
In one
adjective.
One adjective. Fun to work with. I don't know, it's one adjective, but that's what I keep hearing, is fun to work with you. Tough, but fun to work.
Super. Thank you again, Rajesh, for joining us in the CEO Insight session. Lovely to have you once again, and really welcome, your support for the Great Manager Award.
Thanks, Rahul. Thanks a lot for this opportunity, and I hope your team finds it useful.